Welcome to Lord Channel again. My name is George and I'll also be, as I said, I'll be a tutorial. So today we'll be working on mathematics. As you can see on the board, and the topic will be indices and logarithms. So for indices and logarithms, so let's start with indices. For indices, there are laws of maths. Indices, there are laws. So I'll be stating the laws with examples. So let's dive in. So indices. So for the first law 1, which says that anything raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Anything raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Example. So 100 raised to power 0 is equal to 1. High. 200 raised to power 0, 2000 raised to power 0 equals to 1. So any figure raised to power 0 is 1. So let's move to the next law, which is law of multiplication, law 2, which says that a raised to power n times a raised to power r is equals to a raised to power n plus r. Multiplication will be addition for the power. Multiplication will be addition. So let's move on. So let's continue. So now we move to the next one. For example, if you notice, a is raised to power. So let me explain that. A is known as the base. A is known as the base, while r equals to the power. So let me give an example. A or n was I raised to power n. So n or r is the power. So example, we say that 2 raised to power 5. No, let me break it down. 2 raised to power 3 times 2 raised to power 4 or 2 raised to power 2. 2 raised to power 2. So it's going to be equals to 2 raised to power 5. So which is, this can be your final answer, but for the sake of example, because you can see some tricky question which says that this one or to find the other's answer or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So which is 2 raised to power 5 or 2 times 2 4, 4 times 2 8, 8 times 2 16, 16 times 2 32. So you can have your answer in two forms, like this or like this. For the sake of example, because you can see this one, but you not see this one, so the answer is not there. So this is the two forms, you can see your answer. So we move to the third law. Law of the brackets. So the law of brackets, law 3, it says that a in bracket raised to power n is power r. So the r is coming from both a raised to power n. So to start with, the law says that a will now be a raised to power n times r. So the power will be the one times each other due to the brackets. So the power times power inside times the power outside. So move to the next one. For example, 2 raised to power 2 in brackets 2, which is equals to 2 raised to power 2 times 2. Final answer will be 2 raised to power 4. Or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 raised to power 4 or 2 times 2 4, 4 times 2 8, 8 times 2 16. So this is where you can see your answer. So move to the next one, which is power of minus negative power. The one that has negative power. Law 4. We say that a raised to power minus r is equals to 1 over a raised to power r. So if you notice, this minus is the division sign. So let me give an example. power minus 2 is equals to 1 over 3 raised to the power 2. You can't leave this as the final answer, so you still break it down. Or 1 over 9. So you can have your answer in this way or in this way. So move to the next law. We move to the next law, which is law 5. Here is to our 1 over n is equals to root n in brackets 1. So this one will be in form of root and the one will come over here. So you have a question like this. So it will now be example. So 2 raised to the power 1 over 2 is equals to, or let's say 4. 4 raised to the power 1 over 2 is equals to the denominator of the power turned to root. So it's made root 2, or 2 is 2 same thing. This 2 is the same thing, or they are the same thing. So let's do it. So they are the same thing, so we move in this. Root 4 brackets 1. So it's going to be equals to 2 raised to the power 1, which is equals to 2. So this is the way you solve it. So move to the next one, which is the sixth law. The sixth law, which is multiplication a divided by a raised to the power n divided by a raised to the power r, which is equals to a raised to the power n minus r. Example, e.g. 2 raised to the power 2 divided by 2 raised to the power 1. You can solve it in 2 ways. It's going to be equals to the first one, which is this one, which is 2 raised to the power 2 minus 1, which is equals to 2 raised to the power 1, and the final answer is equals to 2. Or solve it in this way. 2 raised to the power 2, right? So it's going to be 2 times 2 divided, come over here. 2 raised to the power 1 is going to be 2. So 2 will cancel 2. So it's now going to be equals to 2. That is the final answer. So move to the next law. The last law, which is the seventh law, which is a minus r over n is equals to or a raised to the power r over n. So it's going to be somewhat like this law, or following this procedure. So let's continue. So it's not very a root n against r. So simple. So let's solve the example. e.g. So 4 raised to the power 2 raised to the power 3 over 2. 4 raised to the power 3 over 2. So let's solve it. So it's now going to be root 4 brackets 3, which is root 4, that is 2 3. So can you answer like this, or 2 times 2 times 2? So it's going to be 2 root 3 or 2 raised to the power. Sorry, it's going to be 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 or 4, 4 times 2. So this can be an answer. For the sake of exam objective, so we can have this to be an answer, have this to be an answer, or have this to be an answer. So now, note one thing in logarithm, in indices. So anything like a raised to the power n is equals to a raised to the power r. Therefore, n is equals to r. So that means they are equal. If there is an equals to, they are equal. So you stop it. So let me just quickly give you a brief exercise. I can drop that, I can drop on the comment section. So which are, for the first one, so I'll be dropping some exercise, so you can drop can leave it on the comment section so I can respond to it. So which are, this is it. So 4 times 2 raised to the power 3 over 8. I, which is a raised to the power minus a minus a raised to the power k over a raised to the power 2 and plus a raised to the power 3 over x minus 1 equals to 5 raised to the power 2 x. So we're going to continue reading the next.
Hi guys, hope you enjoyed today's class. Please don't forget to subscribe, tap the notification button, like, comment and share. Thank you, bye!